Hey everyone, it's another installment of Everyday Short Stories, Chapter 3, and this month's topic was family. We have another great story for you, and this one is called Smoking and Dogs Can Ruin People's Lives. Enjoy. Thanks.
Um, I'm the youngest of I'm the youngest of 8 kids, so I feel like I'm an expert on family, which is why I wanted to talk tonight because I have a lot of experience with family. I have seven brothers and sisters, and 13 nieces and nephews, and 10 great nieces and nephews. So it's a lot, and people always say like, "Oh my God, that must be so fun." And it's fun. It is fun. Um, but it's a lot of people because all those people are also all my siblings are married. So it's a lot of people. At Christmas, it's a lot of people. My family likes to get together, so there's a lot. So inevitably, there's a lot. There's always drama, and it's you can't. It's the law of averages. 25 people, somebody's gonna melt down, and that's what happens. So uh, like my nephew's wedding, my dad who had dementia, um, but he just decided at the cocktail hour, right after the ceremony, he had 2 glasses of wine. He was going to go to bed. That was it. He was like, we had no, and so he went to bed and he just wandered off and he went upstairs and so there was a whole drama and trying to get him down and the mother of the groom wouldn't leave. And it was a whole thing. So there's that. Um, or like my mom's 80th when we all flew to Chicago and I set up a whole thing for her 80th birthday and we went on an architectural boat tour and the people that were in charge of making sure my dad didn't have 2 glasses of wine failed at their job. And so he had 2 glasses of wine, and then he got back to the hotel and decided he was going to bed at 5 o'clock and missed mom's dinner and everything, shut the whole thing down. So there was a Christmas years ago when somebody, my dad, after drinking about a bottle of wine, um, evidently went outside to get more wood for the fire. I grew up in Michigan, and thanks. And he evidently stepped in dog poop and then tracked it all across the white carpet of the house. So my mom lost it. There's a quick note. We did not have a dog. So we were never allowed to have a dog because my mom never wanted someone to track dog poop through the house on the white carpet. So my brother, in a strong act of rebellion, got a dog when he was old enough. He got a German Shepherd. And so we only can imagine that that dog had pooped near the wood pile. My father had gone out to get wood and tracked it through the house. But anyway, a few of us smokers had taken this opportunity to go outside and get a smoke while my mom was ranting and raving and cleaning the carpet inside. And so remember, this is December in Michigan, 25 people jammed in a house. So this is why you smoked, was to have reasons to leave. So another quick note, we were not allowed to smoke. So all smoking had to be surreptitious and you had to lie. And there was one tricky, positive thing for me. My siblings are all older than I am, so they had a more difficult time lying. By the time I was smoking, my mom had already fallen, hit her head on the ice, and lost her sense of smell. So it was easier to get away with it. So we were outside smoking. My brothers-in-law, because they were allowed to smoke, and me secretly smoking. And my mom came out, flew the door open in a rage with her, I don't know what she had, rags that she was just throwing in the garbage. She was so mad about the dog food. And she looked at us and she looked me right in the eye and she said, "Dogs and smoking, they ruin people's lives." So that became the Christmas known as Dogs and Smoking Ruin People's Lives Christmas. As all of our family get-togethers now have titles. So there's the. I want to make sure I'm not forgetting any of these. Yes, it's the dogs and smoking ruin people's lives. Christmas. There was the year that my oldest sister ruined Christmas when I was 9. My sister is 16 and a half years older than I am, and my oldest sister, and she had gone to her Christmas party on Christmas Eve. And if you knew my sister, which is really funny about this story, my sister was a classics major. Like she's the biggest nerd in the world. She loves Latin, and but she'd gone to this Christmas party at work and gotten hammered, evidently, and came home. And so Christmas morning, in my family, you were not allowed to open presents unless everybody was present. And she was throwing up in the bathroom. And I was beside myself because I couldn't open any presents. And my mom was like, we can't do it till everybody's assembled. And so I just remember banging on the bathroom door saying, "You've ruined Christmas!" So that was the year that now is known as the year that the Christmas Rebecca ruined. Um, so it it all sort of one of my favorite dramas. Those are small. One of my favorite dramas was this is to get to the kind of ultimate of the family drama was what we call the fire alarm reunion. My mom's has several siblings, and her side of the family we get a big family reunion like every 5 years. So we this one was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, which I don't know if I've been to. It's very nice, very interesting, and my we did it because my uncle and my cousin were historians. They were blah blah blah. So we go, and at the time our son was just not quite 2, and it was a nightmare. We had to get from Los Angeles to Gettysburg, and he did not sleep. He did not want to sit in a car seat, and he would not sit in an airplane seat. So you can imagine how fun the journey was. And but we finally get to this hotel, and here's what's interesting or just important to know before we get to the fire to the fire alarm part, which is there were 3 groups at the Wyndham in Gettysburg that weekend. My family reunion, teeny tiny part of this. So we're a very small percentage. There was a military wedding, which the bride and groom were about 19, and we know that because the night of their wedding, they got into a huge fight, and my husband and I ended up sort of counseling them back together. So it's just a little piece of that. But by far, 90% overtaking the entire hotel at all times was a fundamentalist Christian Korean group of families with special needs kids. And they were like 98% of the hotel. So it was really interesting because it was like we were attending a thing that we didn't belong at. Like it was like they overtook every single part of the hotel, and then there was our weird little family not really knowing how we fit in. And so it's fine, blah, blah, blah. First night, 1:30 in the morning, fire alarm goes off. And I'm saying, I don't know if you guys have ever been in a hotel where a fire alarm goes, it's unbelievably loud. It's deafening. So we all shoot out of bed, and of course, this is the only time in our child's entire life, even to this date, that we could not wake him. Like he was just this thing is going off, and we cannot get him to wake up. So fine, okay, but it's scary, because it's like there's no one going. This is just. It's like no, this is real, and so we had to get all our stuff together, and you go open the hallway, and it's just bedlam. It's just chaos, and people are trying to get downstairs. You're like, okay, the exit, and everyone, and it's scary, we have our kid. Um, and it was you go down to the lobby, and it was pretty scary. Fire trucks, and everyone's concerned, and ambulances. I mean, it was horrible. Um, so anyway, we go outside. People are kind of panicking, and my dad is wandering around. He's got dementia. He's wandering around. Times my mom keeps losing him. It's not great. One of my sisters at one point just decides to go sleep in her car. Um, I see my other sister, Sally. She comes up like, "Have you seen Chris, my brother?" And I'm like, no. And she's like, oh, it's really bad. We had just gotten high when the alarm went off. And now I've lost him. And I'm like, okay, okay, all right. And we look over, and there's my brother, high, in his pajamas, carrying a child. Like a 5 or 6 year old child. So we go over and I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, what's that kid? He goes, I don't know. I walked into the hallway and some lady handed her to me and she's asleep. So I don't really know what to do. I'm like, well, who was the lady? He's like, I don't know. There's a long story short here is that the lady finds him and it's all fine and it was bad for a while, but we sorted it all out. And it has become this big sort of this was the my family's like this was the one time though this drama was not caused by our family. It was an outside force that came in that bonded us all together. It didn't really bond us. There was no bond. We 2 months later, because we're the cool aunt and uncle who live in LA, my nephews divulged that they were secretly smoking in the hotel room, in the non-smoking room with the windows shut, and that's what had set off the alarm. So it all proves my mother's point that dogs and smoking do ruin people's lives. Thank you.
Betsy T.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to this fantastic YouTube channel. Thanks. By like and subscribe, I mean, validate me, make me feel loved. So if you don't subscribe and like, then I'll know you don't love me.